It's not getting there yet. All right. Someone is saying we're online. I don't know if we're online or not. Restream. This may be your last week. This may be your last week. We're gonna try Restream out. I like being able to stream to YouTube and to Twitch and to Facebook, the Cyber-Recon sites all at the same time. That is really nice to be able to do, but I don't know if it's worth it. I've got a weird thing going on here. I got to get the green screen right. Put the green screen back there, and I got a yellow. I always got to watch the yellow shirts because it always messes with the green screen. Too close to green. What's up, Paul? It's a good Monday morning. Start to another week. Short week for most people. Most people are going to have the good old-fashioned government 4-day week. Friday's off for a lot of people for the 4th of July. Independence Day. Love it or leave it, man. Go out and do the fireworks. Today, we do have a lot of green in our cup today. I was trying to show this before. Our Missouri cup is holding our Illy coffee. And if you look, it's got just enough green in there that every once in a while you'll see that background coming right on through it. I guess that could be what the heck is it? It's not YouTube. It's the Twitch or whatever. We'll come back to it. Losing my mind. Anyways, get going. We'll get going this morning. See what is going on. We got a ton going on again. Not a ton in the news though. Kind of a quiet morning in the news. Let's get all set up here, and we can talk about what's going on. Let's do our breakover now that we got the first part started. Let's cut over, do our little intro, and then we'll jump into the news. All right. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you here. If you're here, if you're not here, I guess I'm not glad to see you because you're not here. Maybe you're watching later today. So, lots going on today. Not a ton in the news. Twitter is in the news. They all these social engineering or social engineering. It's that kind of morning. All these social media kind of places there's a balancing, a tightrope walk they're walking. They hold so much data, so much personal data they're holding of you. So Twitter's apologized for yet another data breach of their business accounts. And I didn't realize this. Almost 75% of business-to-business transactions or business-to-business markets, products and stuff, they market their products on Twitter. That's great. That's great that they're out there. It is, if you watch a lot of the new media folks, they'll tell you, traditional advertising, TV, print, radio, it is quickly being overwhelmed. It's probably been overwhelmed by social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. These are the marketing methods of the future. This is the way it's going now. It's crazy to see it this way, but the traditional stuff is kind of going away. So you see 75% of business-to-business products being marketed on Twitter. And they suffered another breach. They didn't tell exactly what the breach was, but they emailed a letter out apologizing to the business clients. It looks like email addresses, telephone numbers, last 4 digits of the credit card numbers were all breached from the database. They breached the analytical platform that's used by Twitter, and Twitter became aware of this on May 20th, so a little over a month ago. It's PII that's out there. The way that this is, the biggest part of this is this PII. PII has been breached, and now they got to deal with it. In America, in most places, GDPR in the European Union, it's huge there. In the United States, it's the Privacy Act. you got to watch out for people's personal information. So other other breaches in June 2020, they had a DDoS attack. April 2020, they had a Firefox cache that was storing confidential information. March 2020, an unprotected Elasticsearch exposed a database of Twitter and other platforms. So make sure you have strong passwords. Use two-factor authentication. Do what you can on your site, on your side of the fence. But the problem is, this is information that Twitter has. You can't force Twitter to do anything other than not use the platform, of course. That's the only thing you can do. But, we got to watch out for where your data's going. So is it worth it to put it there? Maybe just think about how you're putting your information into Twitter. Maybe use one credit card that's kind of protected. Maybe use a credit card that you top off. Maybe one of those rechargeable credit cards that you add money to. Just watch what you put in that information. It's out of your control once you give that information to another organization. So Twitter's just one example. Obviously, you give your information to all kinds of other people, and it's just you're trusting those folks to protect it, and sometimes that's dangerous to do. So that's Twitter. Twitter is in the news. I guess these guys, if you're gonna be a criminal, be a big criminal. I guess as Michael Jackson would say, be a smooth criminal. This CryptoCore hacker group made the big bucks is the story from Cyber Social. CryptoCore is an organized hacking group. And one of the things they do is they like to attack the cryptocurrency exchanges. And this research group looked at one of the recent heists that CryptoCore did. And the heist was originally noted to have been worth about $70 million in cryptocurrency. Clear Sky has re-looked at this thing, and they think that the total value may be worth about $200 million. So CryptoCore is also known as Leary Turtle and Dangerous Password. So here's the one. We'll throw that one up there. If you're a player of Trivia Night, the next Trivia Night will be next Tuesday. Not tomorrow, but the Tuesday after. One of your questions I can guarantee is CryptoCore is also known as what? And here's your answer, either Leary Turtle or Dangerous Password. I can't tell you which one it'll be, but that'll be one of your questions. So back to the story at hand. These folks that are carrying out this exploit, their modus operandi, MO, or their TTP, as we used to call it, tools, techniques, and procedures, is laid out pretty well. And these guys are not extremely technical. And that's one of the things we see with a lot of these groups now is they don't have to be extremely technical because they're relying on social engineering attacks. So they begin their operation with an expansive reconnaissance phase where they look at the organization, all its components. So they're looking at things like LinkedIn profiles, Facebook profiles, scraping the internet for whatever that organization is, their name is. And then they start conducting phishing attacks. And they're launching them against the organization's personal email account. So if they can tie somebody, if they can tie a person to an organization, they can get if they get their personal accounts, they're going to try to attack them on their personal accounts because it's easier now to attack somebody on their personal account than their corporate account because they're far less secure. So this is another reason why, as a security professional, we need to make sure that we're training our people to not only be secure while they're at work, but to generally be secure while they're online anywhere. So after this initial phase of just general phishing happens along, then they move it up to spear phishing, where they spear phish corporate email accounts within a few hours or a few weeks after that first initial phishing attack. And then here comes the final death blow, is when they deliver the malware to the manager or employee systems, and then gaining access to the manager or the password manager account, and then that's when they can start pivoting. That's when they can start moving through horizontally and laterally through the organization. It's crazy. And Mike Bravo, you're exactly right. Classic footprinting. If we watch the pen testers cycle or the hacker cycle, that's exactly what they do. Recon, and then we're going to do some footprinting, and then we're going to start launching our attack. So yeah, it's classic. It's not anything that is new. It's just efficient. And that's one of the things the article points out is these guys aren't technical. They're using kind of off-the-shelf stuff. They're using tools that have been built by other people. I'd be leery to call them script kiddies, but that's essentially what they are. They're using other people's tools, but they're building them into a very efficient attack chain. They target mainly the U.S., the Middle East, and Japan because they're based in Eastern Europe, so that's a great target set for them. So point is they're not extremely technically sound, but they make up for it with their efficiency. So, as Alex would always tell us, what can we do to protect ourselves? Obviously, if you're the security person for your organization, your group of friends, your whatever, you're the security dude or dudette, share the stuff about, if they can't do the phishing and the spear phishing to start, they can't get in. So training. We have to train, we have to educate our users on what is going on here. So, get that information out. And then second, patch your systems. Have current malware in place. And make sure that, I can't just overemphasize patching your system. Some comments coming in on this. Armitage, yeah, Armitage. Any of the Metasploit, obviously the underlying framework. There's a ton of ways we can go about this. Mike is exactly right. There's automated tools. There's tools out there that these guys can just get, and they don't really have to pay for most of them. Like most of the stuff you can get is freeware. I mean, it's Kali. You can get Kali for free from the internet. If you know how to use it, you're good to go. Alex said, yeah, he wanted to know how we can stop this thing. How do we stop it? So here's the facts. These guys are out there. These guys are going after the crypto exchanges, but there's other groups using this same attack principle. Just like Mike's saying, this is a well-known framework that people use. You do surveillance, you do reconnaissance, you do footprinting, and you start moving down the attack chain until you can get on the target, pivot, and move throughout the organization. Cover your tracks, get your data out, and probably leave a backdoor so you can come back in later. Train your users, patch your systems, use malware, have defense in depth. That's the stuff we need to do. Configuration management, asset management are a must. Exactly right. We can't really say that enough, Mike. And again, we go back to last week when we were talking about Sam's Top 20. That's number 1 and number 2 on Sam's Top 20, and that's those security controls in order of importance. That's how we do them. Soylent Green. Hey, I heard Soylent Green was people. So that is crypto mining on the news today. Talking about crypto mining, or cryptocurrency, I should say. It's a different vein here. Lucifer malware is out. It's growing in popularity. Again, the folks want to get onto your system. They want to use your resources for something. A lot of these malicious actors are using your system to do crypto mining. If they can get a huge botnet, they can have your system, your power, your dollars going to that stuff to crypto mine for them. So Palo Alto's Unit 42 said they identified 2 versions of Lucifer malware that took advantage of known vulnerabilities, infiltrating and performing malicious activities on targeted systems. So this is self-propagating hybrid malware dubbed Lucifer that leverages vulnerabilities to spread and perform malicious activities on Windows platforms such as cryptojacking and distributed denial of service attack. So that tells us a lot. That tells us this is a worm because it's self-propagating. So we have to patch our systems to look out for this. We don't need a user to click on something for this one. So it's not a virus or a Trojan. This is going to be a worm. So the way we protect against this one is we patch our system. So it's targeting a bunch of known vulnerable systems, right? So Rigetto HTTP file server, Microsoft Windows vulnerabilities, Oracle WebLogic, Apache Struts, which, oh my gosh, if you use Apache Struts, Think PHP, and Laravel framework, which I'm not sure what that is, are all some of the exploits these guys are going after. So if they look for this list of vulnerabilities, and if they see them, they're going to exploit them. When they get in, they're going to use the Xrig miner, and we talked about that last week. That's a very popular miner for these guys to start cryptojacking, and they're going to start making Monero and exploit Eternal Blue, Eternal Romance, double Pulsar backdoors against vulnerable targets. It's crazy. So there's some information on the article about some cryptojacking campaigns from the recent past, April and May, against looks like generally Windows clients. And again, it looks like both cases they're using this XMRig. So obviously, protection, Alex, like we say, patch your systems. Patch your system, patch your system, patch your systems. Don't leave them out there with vulnerabilities on them. You're going to have to scan your networks, and then you're going to have to patch those systems that show up with vulnerabilities. That's the biggest way to stop a lot of this stuff. And then we have malware, and we have defense in depth, and again, train your users. That's the story of the day. Next one's a little bit near and dear to my heart. I have been thinking about getting one of these things, right? And it's on my mind. DJI, we've got the Phantom Pilot over there in the graphic, but it's not just the Phantom Pilot, and that's the one we see a lot. That's the big white drone, that big honking white one that is made for high winds, being able to withstand a lot of the environmental situations. But DJI also makes the Mavic, and they make the Mavic, the full-size Mavic, and the Mavic Mini, which are not as good as the big Phantom Pilot in the heavy winds and stuff. DHS is warning the police that surveillance drones made by the Chinese company DJI are at risk of having data intercepted. This is I need a graphic that says "well, duh" or something like that. Duh. I mean, how can we not know this? Supply chain management. And that's, Alex, this one's for you right up front before we can get even further in the story. Supply chain management. You got to have control of supply chain management. Where is your equipment coming from? If you're using these drones, and I granted, I get it. A lot of the really good ones are made in China. So if we have to get them from China, we have to put protections around them. Is there any other drones out there? I don't know. I was looking at the DJI Mavic. It's a really good drone. It just is. But, I haven't got one yet. I haven't pulled the trigger because first they're expensive. So we kind of have to say, well, duh. One of the things is, first this comes from the Department of Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, which I don't like that title they've got because, of course, we know there's a CISA exam out there as well, and it always throws me. Expressed concern in a letter this week to the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, Democrat from New York. This is the world's top commercial drone maker, has loaned aircraft to U.S. police departments, and generally they're using this for coronavirus, right? So spotting coronavirus. Looking for folks that are gathering in groups that are too big. They're using them generally for surveillance of the population. Again, that's a whole different story. We won't go into that. But these drones, like New York, the story talks about, and this was from the New York Post, this story, and obviously it's in the show notes below. They use at least 14 drones made by DJI, and they're generally using them. This is the Elizabeth, New Jersey Police Department. On this one, is using lone DJI drones to locate social gatherings to issue $1,000 fines. So obviously, this is supply chain management. If we got to get drones from someone, and we got to first of all maybe wonder why a Chinese company is going to loan drones to U.S. police forces. That's a question in my mind right off the bat. So why are these guys doing it? Maybe it's altruistic, maybe it's not. Is there an ulterior motive behind it? That's obviously that's a big question. Why would this big Chinese company load these things out? So the CISA from Homeland Security is adding additional requirements if you're going to use funding from the federal government to get unmanned aerial surveillance platforms, or UAS. Those wishing to continue purchasing from foreign manufactured UAS must provide written justification that is screened against criteria that includes an assessment of the UAS manufacturer's country of origin. Based on the screening, FEMA may recommend alternatives on a case-by-case basis, which, again, it kind of blows my mind that this is just coming to light now. We have pushed for supply chain management for years now. NIST has pushed it. I thought, personally, I thought it was a requirement for law enforcement agencies to have supply chain management, and maybe that's how they got around it. Maybe because these were given or loaned from DJI, they didn't go through that same supply chain. So the thing we worry about is the data on the drones getting out. But how does it get out, right? So more than likely, and I don't have a drone, so I'm a little bit in the dark here. So maybe you can help me out. But I would assume I've got to install some software on my computer to be able to download the footage and manipulate it and move it wherever I need to move it. What's in that software, and what else is it doing to my network, my information systems, and how is it pushing information maybe to a foreign national? And Mike's got a bunch of comments here. Let's get some of them on the screen. And Mike may know some of this stuff. So, have controls to export on crypto. We need some controls on adversarial governments bringing stuff in. And I thought this was all in there in supply chain management. I thought, and I guess that's like anything else, right, Mike? It's just like, inventory control and patch management and configuration management. No due diligence, yeah. Nice to see you in the morning, Mike, by the way. Mike, Alex, Paul, all really solid in the morning. And no accountability. That's so weird because we have the risk management framework, we have the cybersecurity framework, we have a set of controls. Like them or not, I think the controls are really good. I think they're strong controls. The NIST 853 catalog, and people complain about it constantly, but it's got all the controls you need. And you don't have to implement all of them, of course. That would be ridiculous. But they're in there. Supply chain management is a set of controls in there. Configuration management is in there. Malware protection, all these controls are in there. The framework setup, RMF setup, to build your system, so SDLC management and lifecycle management. Cybersecurity framework is in there to help you with managing incidents and events. It's crazy to me. I think Mike and I are saying the same thing. Revision 5, when does revision 5 of 853 come out? And Mike's saying 53 is my Bible. There's just controls are there. The framework's there. It's not just for the government. I've implemented the RMF. Obviously, it's been modified a little bit in a number of organizations that don't have any requirement to follow them at all. We put it in place in a hedge fund that didn't want it to start with, but once they started seeing what it would do, that's the way they went. So to me, it's a nice, solid framework. It's got a nice set of controls. It's updated regular, and the biggest thing I sell customers on when I'm talking to them is it's free. It's maintained by an exceptional staff. They really care about what they're doing. You know, like or hate this, they put out some really good documentation. So I can't say too much. I think the big story behind this is not DJI itself. The big story behind this is supply chain management. If you're an organization and you're the security person, and I don't care really what level you're at, and you see that they're buying, your organization is just buying stuff without running through some kind of due diligence, question that. If you're some type of sensitive organization, law enforcement, the DoD, you know, several parts of the government, and then a bunch of organizations should worry about this too. It's a pipeline straight into your organization because you're installing that software, using that hardware to conduct your daily business. So more probably to come from this story here. And our holiday, before we break into the second half of the show, talking open mic, I guess, is camera day. It's kind of a slow day, so camera day. I guess camera day is good. Cameras on the DJI Mavics, cameras on the Phantoms, cameras up here running the show this morning. Enjoy your camera. Use your camera securely. You know, happy camera day. That's the weird holiday of the day. So you get your weird holiday out of the way. We got our trivia question. So if you know, if you're keeping notes at home, there's one you'll surely get for sure. And let's talk a little bit about what's going on with us here and what July looks like. So let me move that out of the way. Let me reshuffle some things around. I've got, as you know, I've got several screens that are way too many to keep track of everything that's happening. I hope, we're getting out to all the platforms. It's weird on trying to watch the YouTube platform. It looks like it's still offline, but I see for sure people coming in from YouTube, so it must have launched a new stream. I don't know, restream is yet again, who knows. So we've been talking a lot about what's going on in July, and July is really the point where we're starting our summer of the summer of newness. This all the builds we have over here, just a pile of equipment. We've got so much stuff that we've got to get through in the summer. We got summers running out, so my summer might go all the way to October, November. I don't know. We have so much to do. Love the input because it's really helping us build out what's next. So if you go out to Cyber-Recon.com and you look under, I think, About Us. Is it About Us? Let me flip over that page. About Us, you will see the July July production schedule. And essentially it looks like this. If you click on the link, it's a PDF you can download, you can look at it, whatever. This is the production schedule for us for July. And we are going to be rolling in July. So Mako and Emily and everybody on the team are going to be heavily involved in just working in July. July, August, September is going to be crazy. So July is showing how much we're ramping up because we hear the feedback from you guys. We hear what you want. So we're trying to put in a framework so you know what is going to happen on what day. There's a lot of stuff. There's 3 major tracks we have in here, right? There's 4 major tracks we have in here. Yeah. Mike, you get on the screen for that one. I need to move that one around. So finally, some RMF stuff. Yeah, it's funny. Remember teaching RMF when it first came out? People despised RMF. Now people can't get enough of it. I don't know why, but I've done it since I was there. I helped write 853 Revision 3 and part of Revision 4 with the NIST folks when I was in one of those organizations that works behind closed doors. Implemented it all over the place, both inside and outside the government. There is some really good stuff to do. There's good information to know in the RMF, regardless of where you're at in the government, in the commercial world, wherever you're at. RMF can help you. So we're starting, this is RMF 2.0, and I don't know how many people are talking about RMF 2.0. I don't know how many people are implementing RMF 2.0. It's really nothing new in RMF 2.0. It's just that NIST had to go out and define a lot of things because people just weren't doing certain things. So they had to make special tasks to make sure people did things like ensure that your assessors are qualified. So they had to create a task for that. If you've been around the RMF, you know that's always been part of another task. Now they had to just pull it out and make it on its own. So we're starting with what used to be called RMF Start Step 0. Now it's they've got rid of the numbers, and we'll talk about all that. But as you see, the schedule is pretty. There's, I think, 3 pages of the schedule, and we roll pretty hard. So we're looking at 4 basic tracks. So Security Plus has been going for a while. We're about halfway through Domain 2 of that one. A lot of stuff in Security Plus. IT Fundamentals Plus has been going on for a little while, but that's been a little intermittent. IT Fundamentals Plus is great for those people that are coming in new to the field who haven't been around a while. It talks about the basics of IT, the basics of computing, stuff like what is RAM, what's the difference between storage and memory. Talks about databases. We talk about networking. We talk about Ethernet and Wi-Fi. What's the difference between 802.11a and 802.11b? We talk about all of this stuff. So that's what IT Fundamentals Plus or ITF Plus is. That one. RMF and CAP is a risk management framework and the Certified Authorization Professional certification if you want to go that route with ISC squared, if you do want to get the CAP certification. And then the last one is Small Office, Home Office. We talked about this one a lot. It's like securing your small office, your home office, getting that stuff locked up and secured. And like we've said, this is like a broken record. We're going to start with your just the router that comes from the cable company. We'll secure that, and then we'll start adding to it. We'll add a commercial, or not a commercial, but a residential or a small office, home office access point, something you buy at Best Buy or Staples or Walmart or Target. We'll add that to or obviously Amazon. Add that to the network, and we'll secure that as well. And then we'll tear all that down, and then we'll move to what I call that level 2 network, where we have some small office, home office grade protections, firewalls, unified devices, access points, cameras. We're going to put cameras in, and we're going to try to stay below $1,000. Now, one thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have some offshoots, obviously. So I've got a 12U 19-inch rack. That's going to be outside the build. We're going to show you putting that together and everything, but that's outside because that was extra money that would push us beyond the limit of what we've got. But we'll put that together, show you if you want to put your equipment on a table, that works. I mean, if you want to put it on a shelf, a cabinet, whatever, that works. But really, you want to put it in a cabinet if you can. So we'll put the cabinet together. We'll put the UPS protection in there. We'll put the battery backup in there. Obviously, we've got our NAS device we'll put in there. All that stuff we're going to get moving. And then one track we don't even have on here, and we'll cover it as we can, is building out those old school gaming machines. So we're going to build the full-on big cabinet MAME machine, and then we're going to build the little Raspberry Pi in, I think it's going to be in a VHS tape. So a bunch of questions coming up. Mike is saying 37R1. Yeah, a lot of people are having a hard time getting into R2. The funny thing, I've done a lot, and I've got a table I'll share with you guys. R2 is really nothing new. We've moved some stuff around. We broke some stuff out of other tasks and moved them into some tasks, but it's really nothing new. But if you want to look, I'm going to run through this real quick, and then we'll go back to the full screen. So if you can see on here, they're just we roll like crazy. Again, go out to Cyber-Recon.com. Under About Us, you'll see the PDF. You download if you want. If you're looking for a specific thing, you'll be able to see it on the list. 3 pages of production schedule. It's like 100 videos plus Cup of Cyber. So Cup of Cyber always will be coming, coming out every morning. You can't really plan that one because it's all, it's all based on what the news is. So let's see, tons of stuff are on the news. New to IT, love this stuff. Criminal justice major, I'm questioning my college decision. Could be further than I'm into my IT. No, I think criminal justice, I mean, there's a ton of law enforcement folks that have a cyber, there's a cyber division in most law enforcement organizations. Cops do cyber. Cops do some of the, if you're going into like forensics and stuff, some of the stuff that you want to do in forensics, you can only get to if you're in the police force. I don't know. Depends on what you want to do. And if you want to go, if you're going into like furthering into like in thinking about being a lawyer, intellectual property is huge in like law. If you're, I always said, and there's several lawyers out there like there now, but if you were a lawyer that had IT background, a cyber background, especially security, I mean, you could almost write your own ticket. There's a ton of crossover between legal, law enforcement, and IT. In the military, in the Army, where I came from, CID, or the Criminal Investigation Division, has a special cyber unit that does a ton of cyber stuff. So, no, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe you could double major. I don't know if it's too late double major, but there's a ton of stuff you can do, and you can always. I can't say this enough. You don't have to get your IT training from a college. There's a ton of places you can get it. I work with a bunch of people that are like, people in the past, psychology majors that are great in IT, great in security. They just needed the diploma to get them started, which is funny. I saw an article last week that said President Trump is changing the way they're looking at government employees. So he's apparently removing the benefit of having a college degree. So you used to get extra points for having a college degree, and a lot of job requirements had a college degree requirement. He wants to go for more experience-based learning in government hiring. So we will see. We'll see. Mike says good points. Yeah, all ties together. I agree 100%. Yeah. Mike and Mike can take over the show now. Thule, I think. Am I saying that? Thule, I hope I'm saying that right. Thule. I hate mispronounce people's names, but I'm terrible at it. Sec Plus on July 11th. Good for you. Get in there and take. I think it changes in December. I think we go to the next version, which is 6 in December, I think, for Security Plus. Mike Bravo is awesome, by the way. And then helpful. Cloud computing is huge. I wanted to put AWS on the list. CCSP is definitely going to be another track we do. That'll be, we're starting to build that out in the end of July, so you'll probably see that in August. Is the ISC squared Certified Cloud Security Professional, CCSP. Thule, okay, Thule. Hate to get people's names right. I think they got rid of the CCSK. I think CCSK merged into the CCSP. And that's the one from the Cloud Security Alliance, right, Mike? I think they merged that. I think those became the new CCSP. I think it was just too much for the Cloud Security Alliance to maintain. Oh, okay. Nope. Okay, Mike, you get me. We'll see. I'll look into that. Used to be CCSK was one that Cloud Security Alliance maintained. If they're still maintaining it as version 4, I need to look into that one. ISC squared CCSP would be a good one. It is a good one. The problem is ISC squared, their certs are like $600, and that's just so much money. And then I got to think how my schedule goes. It's like $85 for your first one, and then you pay. I don't know if they rolled them up. Either Isaka rolled them up into one fee, or ISC squared rolled them up into one fee. One or the other, they rolled them up into one fee. The other one, I think, for a while I was paying ISC squared a bunch of money because I was paying for like 4 or 5 different certifications. That's when you have to think, which ones do I want to keep maintaining? So, great conversation. I think, this is what the morning show is all about. We get the news out. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about it? What do you think about? I'd love to hear about what you think about the production schedule. I know Mike is happy to see RMF on there. There's some folks that are asking about the courses. And I'd say it all the time, like trying to get people into the field, trying to get you skilled up, ready to go, out there doing the things. Yeah, and Paul, it's got a great segue. Website says your training course starts July 1st. Is that still a good date? It actually got pushed back just a bit, and I'm glad you brought that up. We're pushing back to the 20th, but you can start registering on the 1st. So July 1st, the registration will start. Between July 1st and July 19th at midnight, we're going to have discounted prices, so that'll be put on the website here in a little bit. And you don't have to pay for the online courses. All the information is going to be on YouTube. The online courses put it together in a nice format that you can follow through. It has questions and answers. It has some additional resources. It has some additional tips that we just can't put on YouTube. Some interactive stuff like the questions and answers we can't do on YouTube, but in the courseware we can build questions and answers. We can guide you through. We can build the path. We can provide additional documentation. And then the first time through with these classes, with the RMF CAP class, with Security Plus CAP class, and with the IT Fundamentals Plus class, I can't say them all together, we'll be doing some sessions online, making sure that everything is hitting where it needs to hit. So it's just, hopefully it'll get you there. So if you're on a budget and you can't afford training and you want to get into security, that's what the YouTube channel's for. It's there. All the information will be there. If you want to get deeper into it, you want to test your knowledge, you want to have the additional resources that are going to be available through the courseware, then sign up for the courseware. Either way, we need you in security. We need good, strong people in security. Anything sec, man. And we'll get well, I appreciate that, Julie. I'm glad. Hopefully it's helping. I know we're not all the way in there. Domain 1 and Domain 2 and Security Plus there's a lot of stuff in there. As we move along, it's nice to see the certifications grow from where they were in the past. And then videos, books, tons of research. There's always a way to get this stuff. If people want to learn, they can learn. You don't have to go to college to get knowledgeable. You don't have to go to college to get the experience. Obviously, those courses are there for a reason. Some jobs are going to require that you have a degree. That's the way it is. But there's a lot of people that just learn by doing. Get out there and they learn on their own. They find the videos, they find the books, they get old equipment, they buy equipment, they hobble it together, they make their own labs. There's a ton of free stuff you can get. There's a ton of paid stuff. So we try to keep our classes as low as we can, cost-wise, just to get people in them. But there's always the channel. The YouTube channel is always there with all the information you need. So it depends on what you want. If you just want the videos and you can do it on your own, good, go do that. That's like Tully's. You got to be a little more dedicated. If you want somebody to lay it all out, to send you emails, to keep track of your score, to let you know what's good and what's bad, that's the courseware. It's gonna you log in, you have your own profile. You're gonna flow through. It's gonna tell you if you're passing or failing different things. It's two different kinds of approaches to learning this stuff. It's whichever way you want to go. I did that one. Whoops. So, so Security Plus training course will include domains for materials from all 6 domains, but it comes out, we're dripping, what they call dripping it out. So it'll come out a domain at a time, and there's a specific reason we're doing that, is because we want to be able to have online sessions with the first group of people that go through it. So the first group of people that go through each of these classes, Security Plus, IT Fundamentals Plus, and RMF Plus, will have online sessions at the end of every domain where we talk about what you got, what maybe gaps there were, so we can make the course better. That won't happen in future courses. So the online sessions will be a time for you to ask additional questions, refine your thinking, all that kind of stuff. So it does cover all 6 domains. It'll start on the 20th. I know that's a Monday. That's why we're doing the 20th instead of like the 15th. We thought about the 15th, but that's like middle of a week. So starting the 20th, and then there'll be discussion sessions at the end of each domain, and about every 2 weeks about a new domain will drop. So give you about 2 weeks to go through a domain. We'll talk about the domain on a live session, and then the next domain will drop. So it'll keep you moving, that's for sure. Dices, man, that's the rule of the world. Mike, I'm glad you're able to make it in the morning. Tuli, Paul, Alex, glad you guys are here. Whoever else out there, if you're out there just watching along, that's great. I don't know who's on Twitch this morning. Love to see somebody on Twitch. That's, I think, first time somebody's watching on Twitch. So, as you know, if you're just joining, this is a new channel. This is a new concept we have. This whole, getting together in the morning, talk about the news, talk about what is going on. It's new to me, at least. I don't see anybody else doing it. I think it's important. It keeps you up to date. Lets you know what's going on. If you're the security person, you go to work today. Somebody brings up, hey, you hear what happens to Twitter? Yeah, I heard about that this morning. We talked about that. And obviously, as we drive on with other things, it can help get you there. So, this is my vision. The vision for the channel, obviously, is to get information out. I've been doing this stuff for about 30 years. I need to get my information into other people's heads, and then I need to help get the information you guys got into other people's heads too. Alex, Mike, you've been around the field for a while. You know that there's information you guys got that we need to get to other people. We need to share the information. We need to secure our systems. And I'm worried about the United States, but if we don't secure systems around the globe, the bad guy still has a foothold. They still can get in somewhere. So we need to secure things everywhere. It's just what we've got to do. So hopefully you've got a good day planned ahead. It's Monday. I mean, let's attack this thing. Let's make things happen. Let's see what Mike's saying. Platform subs usually use security solo, being background. Yeah. I think that back part of your sentence there, being background security folks helps the security mojo go. If you are one deep, if you're the security person at your organization, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes hard to go to work and get beat up every day and people telling you this stuff doesn't matter and we've got to get the system going and it's mission critical or our business will fail without it. Sometimes you need that sounding board, the security folks to talk to say, yeah, this stuff is important. It is important that you patch your system. It is important that you train your people on social engineering. It is important that we have a firewall. Thank you guys, Alex. I think everybody. I'd love to see the comments. That's what makes the morning show go. This is the interactive part of it that I just love. Still haven't seen who's on Twitch. That's okay. Someone's on Twitch. I'm just glad to see someone on Twitch. I didn't know if anybody's out there. Twitch is normally a gaming platform, but there are a couple security shows out there. A couple IT shows. So I am glad you guys are here this morning. Missing anything? We need to cover anything else before we cut out for the day? It is our morning cup of cyber. Swag's coming. New swag. The RMFer shirts are coming. The We Wear Red on Friday shirts are coming. And those will have Space Force. It's our sixth branch, so got to have Space Force on there. So I haven't seen a lot of stuff yet with all 6 branches on it. So we wear red on Friday shirts. We'll have Space Force on them. Coffee cups. I got some red coffee cups coming too with Cyber-Recon stuff. And I think that's the big stuff that's coming for it. Swag, you'll see it out there. Paul, I think Cyber-Recon rocks too. And so you guys know, it's not just me. I stand here in front of everybody and talk. There is a group of people that help keep this thing going. We have Mako and Emily that are fairly devoted about just keeping things going, keeping the technologies going, and they're going to be the biggest ones driving the interactive parts of the online course up, and they're the ones that do a lot of the editing, and Jimmy does a lot of the editing and keeping things moving forward. And we're actually talking about getting assistance from someone to build a not-for-profit that's going to help hopefully do some training for folks that are in positions that they need them, especially like deploying veterans that need to get retrained. You guys may not know. I started my military career in combat arms, and I got lucky enough to get moved over into technology and computers and C4I and that kind of stuff. That was pure luck. I didn't plan that. It just happened. There are so many people in the military, and don't get mad at me, Mike, but some jobs like infantry and things like that, you great managers, great leaders, they excellent in the military, but when they get out, sometimes they don't have a transferable job skill. So there's jobs like that in the Army, in the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Air Force. Those folks, sometimes they need a marketable skill. So that's what this not-for-profit, or I guess it'd be technically a non-profit, hopefully will do. And I know it's going to be a longer tail to get that thing going. And I'll throw that. Mike gets to say something on that too. So I feel fortunate that I just got lucky. Sometimes I say it's better to be lucky than good. I was lucky. I was a combat arms guy. I just wanted to go out and be an Army soldier. It wouldn't have helped me in the civilian world. So luckily I had a lieutenant when I was in the infantry that told me that there was jobs inside. He put me behind a computer, and then the rest is kind of history. So a lot of stuff. Let's see. I think it's a good one. Love that. Get some today. Used to say that a lot. Get some. We totally agree. Let's see what we got. Learn from a group and Mike knows he was infantry, so it's a great job in the Army. It is the Army. The infantry is the Army, and then when you get out, it's can be a hard transition. Army hires Navy IT guys. A lot of times that's true, but I remember a time when Navy had that. What was that network you guys had over in the Navy that was awful? I remember we went to class at Carnegie Mellon with some Marine Corps guys that had to call back to Quantico to try to get some software installed. But there's a lot of great IT guys in the Navy, ETs and ITs. They have ITs, or everybody ETs over there, and helicopter mechanics. Yes, especially Air Force helicopter mechanics. Thank you, Lily, for being here this morning. Yes, C5 ISR now. Yeah, it was C4I when I was in. It was actually C3I when I first started, and then became C4I, and now, yeah, C5 ISR. And I was command, computers, communications. I can't even remember them all now. You're going to have to give me the whole rundown, because I can't remember what it all was. It's been too long. Yeah, totally. A lot of people do that. A lot of people, again, no requirement for college. I think that we're going to see a lot of change coming in the future, especially with a lot of these college scandals that are going along. We're seeing a lot more people that experience is going to be more valuable than a degree in a lot of places. Some places you're going to have the degree. That's just the way it is. Pull yourself up, pull the bootstraps. Self-made. We can still be self-made. It's you got to work though, and nobody's going to hand it to you, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't understand. Work at night, IT during the day. Yeah. Yeah, that's what the new signs are now. It's going, and it was kind of, in my mind. I got out of high school in '87, so that's why I got this light blonde hair in my beard. Um, and back then, you had things. You had people that could go join a union, like a bricklayer or you know glass workers or something like that. You don't have to have you didn't have to have a bunch of experience. They would just put you to work. You do all the bad jobs that nobody else wanted to do, but you'd learn the trade. Welders were another great example of that. And then for some reason we thought everybody had to go to school. So a lot of, especially junior college, you started, okay, you can get a 2-year degree in welding, or you can get a 2-year degree in whatever. Um, but you didn't need that. Automotive was another big one, yeah. Um, some of the best welders, some of the best bricklayers, some of the best mechanics just are people that learn the hard way, right? That's kind of where we're going back to, I think. Uh, yeah, make yourself destruct in 10 seconds if we don't take advantage of it. Um, that's kind of what we're doing here, trying to get that information out. So I know we've been on a while this morning. Hopefully you guys, again, like Paul said, go get some today. Go out there and get some. Go tackle the day. Let's go out with purpose. A lot of you jobs that want a 4-year degree and CISSP with no experience. But I think that's funny. So funny, a CISSP with no experience, because obviously you have to have experience to get the CISSP. Yeah, and then they want to pay you as like a GS 10 or 11, right? I don't know where you're at, Matt. So obviously a little higher out here in the DC region, but I was a GS back in Fort Riley, and I was the assistant IAM for the post for all of Fort Riley, SIPR and NIPR, and they had some TS systems there as well. And it was a GS 11 job, I think, which you gotta wonder. Wonder why. Yeah, it's contractors that want CISSP 10 years and TS SCI, and full scope poly, right? It's crazy what people are asking for. Always remember though, if you are going for those jobs, except for the clearances, that's a different story. But most jobs that have the requirements down, those are the wish list. If you don't have all those requirements, apply anyways. I've been a hiring manager many times, and the job description we put out is not. We know we're not going to get all those things. We just put the wish list out. We find the person that has the most check boxes we can do, that has the best personality. Don't ever underestimate personality when you do the job interviews. Those are the folks that get hired. Those folks that can check the most blocks. Not every block gets checked. If you come to one of my jobs, one of the things I have open, if you check every block, I'm going to have to question that. I definitely put my thinking cap if you meet every single one of the requirements. Yeah, definitely on point. Taiwanese. So I don't know. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think Mike, not just one of the mornings. We got to figure out how we're going to do the interviews. I'm going to get Mike on. We're going to talk about some stuff. Some other folks I'm going to bring on too. We'll talk about. I got to figure out how to get that in the schedule. But yeah, go out online. Go out to Cyber-Recon.com. Check out the About Us, and you'll be able to see the broadcast schedule for July. Ton of stuff going on. Not everything is in there. Some of the stuff we're going to have to add just ad hoc as we go along. Let's see. Documentation side, hard to get experience if you're not doing it. The accreditation, that is learning the toolbox or something you can do with outlets. Still trying to get that experience. Yeah, Matt. The experience, I think, there's some of it you get. Set your home office up, set your network up at home, and build that out. If I had somebody that came into my interview, and this is probably going to be a junior person, but they came in and they said, I don't have any experience, but here's what I've set up at home. I've got a NAS device. I built my own NAS device. I installed the operating system on it. I set that up. I've got Linux boxes that I build with IP chains and IP tables. I know that, and they built their own network at home, and they can explain what they did. That's going to go a long ways. They may not have done enterprise level stuff, but they understand the basics. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you have the opportunity. VirtualBox is a great tool to use, and it's free to try different operating systems. The other thing is there's always a lot of volunteer organizations that can't really afford to secure their stuff. You might be able to get with them and say, hey, I know this stuff. I've got a certification, I've got training, I've done this stuff. Let me come in and I need to get experience, so let me take care of your network or let me take care of your system. And in exchange, you're not going to have to pay me, but this will give me my documented experience. Obviously, the experience is the hardest part. It's that catch-22. You can't get the job to get the experience unless you get the experience from the job. And that's a tough road that's a tough one to broach. But I would say I would give a lot of credence to someone who has built an actual small office, home office environment at home that's secure, even if it's just the equipment they have. Like we were talking earlier, if they took their cable modem and they secured it, they put port forwarding on, and they put the firewall, they turned the firewall on, they built firewall rules, and they put MAC filtering on. They did all the things that we love to see, and they did it at home. That's going to count for something. But it depends on where you're at. I'd say it's more entry level, because as you get on in positions, it's going to be bigger. I think it'd be interesting to see someone that implemented the RMF on their home network. That would be interesting to see. Practically got. Well, thanks, Mike. Mike actually he did the actual master's level RMF training. So I appreciate that. I just put the information out there. You learned it and put it to work. So I got foot in the door. RMF's a good RMF. I love the RMF. I think it's a great framework. It can secure just about anything. I think that might be a challenge. Somebody trying to get a job, do the RMF on your home network. Go through all the steps, put all the controls in place, test them. You're not obviously gonna have to do all the roles yourself. You're gonna have to be the system owner. You're gonna have to be the assessor. You're gonna have to be the ISO. You're gonna have to be the CAA, the DAA. You're gonna have to be all those positions. Like firewall and network storage experiences, help desk admin on Nipper for 3 years, and then went the sysadmin side, testing on tactical. There's firewalls are out there. You can get something like IPCOP is a Linux distro you can download for free and mess with it. Squid is a proxy. You want to practice proxy, get a Squid proxy. It's free too. You're gonna have to learn Linux if you want to learn the free stuff. You're gonna have to get in and learn Linux because all the free stuff is on Linux. But Matt, that's a great. It can be. This job is going to demand your attention. It's going to demand you always learn. But on the other side of the coin, there's probably always going to be a job for you. You may have to retool yourself every 4 or 5 years, like Thule was saying. You're going to have to know cloud. Next 4 or 5 years, there's going to be no one getting a waiver on that. You're going to have to know cloud. There's all these different offshoots. Talked about working in the judicial forensics, in law enforcement, looking at lawyers that do intellectual property stuff, looking at automotive. Still learn Linux side. There's plenty of places to go. There's a ton of information on Linux. That's if we didn't have our already full schedule, I think the Linux Plus would be a great course to do. Maybe that'll come after we get through probably IT Fundamentals Plus. That's a pretty short certification. Maybe we'll jump into Linux Plus after that. Considering Linux Plus, A Plus, or Network Plus after that, after ITF Plus is done. But we'll see. Got to get CCSP in there. A ton of stuff going on. But great. I think it's time to get ready for work. Still don't know who's on Twitch. Don't know who's on Twitch, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. Twitch, start with one and we'll grow from there. But anyways, hopefully you'll share with your friends. Yeah, yeah. But Red Hat, Red Hat is a double-edged sword. If you talk, especially if you're talking about Red Hat RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Um, I've heard some different stories about the government trying to get away from Red Hat and go to some different operating systems in the Linux world. Ansible, I love Ansible. That's yet another thing. Dang, Matt. Ansible is a great and wonderful tool. Like Mike was saying earlier, throw that right after that. Ansible's awesome. If you're doing configuration management, Ansible is awesome. You can build a system based on a script. It builds it the same every single time, and you run that script against a system that's live in the environment, and if somebody's changed it, it's going to change it right back. I love that thought. Patch it with Ansible. Patch the Ansible script and just roll it out. There's a ton of things. Yet another thing we should cover. Cloud Plus is a great point. So great bridge from Cloud Assist Admin. Cloud Plus a great point. Guys, too much stuff to do. Not enough time. We got to plan this stuff out. So maybe we've got probably another couple months on Security Plus because there's just so much stuff in there. IT Fundamentals Plus will be done probably mid-August. RMF will probably be done end of August. Security Plus August, September probably. Just because there's so much stuff in there. And then we'll have to figure out what the next rounds are. So next rounds look like we're probably going to do maybe Cloud Plus, I don't know. CCSP for sure. And we'll have to take it from there. So anyways, like I was saying, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Hit that bell over there to be notified. Hit that right down there somewhere is the subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. The bell will let you know when we're going live. Share with your friends if you can, and I think we'll just we'll call it a morning. Get ready for logging into work. Hope you guys have a great day. What we got? Cloud Plus Udemy library. Udemy's pretty good too. CCSP, let's do it. We'll start that probably first part of August, Mike. I don't know how far along you're on CCSP. We'll probably start ours the first part of August. It'll probably take the place of IT Fundamentals Plus. We'll throw CCSP on the schedule. I would expect it in the August production schedule, probably mid-August or something. I don't know. We'll see. Good stuff. So, anyways, share with your friends, like, comment, subscribe. Love to see you on YouTube. If you're on one of the other platforms, Twitch or Facebook, trying to build the Facebook platform out just for more conversations, not from me to you guys or this kind of two-way we have in the morning, but more community, a community of folks that can talk about things. I'd love to see you. That's facebook.com. I think it's /Cyber-Recon, one word. Cyber-Recon training. Cyber-Recon training is what it is. I'll have to share the link. I'll put the link in the show notes. Love to see you on the Facebook group because we can talk. We can get discussions going. But that being said, as Mike would say, go out there, get some, be safe out there, and we will see you tomorrow.